Basic geometrical ideas. Geometry is a branch in mathematics that deals with shapes. The term geometry originated from the Greek word geometron. Geo means earth and metron means measurement. The geometrical ideas shaped up in ancient times. They were used in art, architecture of different temples, palaces, lakes, dams, and layouts of cities, and also to measure the boundaries of cultivated lands. We come across different objects which look different from one another in our daily life. Understanding the geometry concepts will help to name these different shapes. The fundamental concept of geometry is a point. Take a white paper. Using a pencil or pen, mark a dot on the paper. This dot is considered as point in geometry. It has no shape, no size, and no dimension. Some may think of this point as circle, but circles have center and radius, whereas point is too tiny to tell where the center is and its radius as well. So this point has no shape and it shows the location on any given surface. Say from left, how much distance is this point, or from the top of the page where the point is located. So any surface will have so many points and each point shows a specific location on that particular space. These points are named using different capital letters. Here we have many points on the screen. For each and every point we can give a specific letter and we'll read this out as point A, point B, point C, and so on. If we observe the tip of a sharpened pencil, it's a point. Tip of a compass or a tip of any needle. All these resemble a point.
Consider a point in plane. Along with that, continuous points on both sides of this which extend infinitely. So let us see, this is the way it would be. But here these are not continuous as we can see gaps between the dots. If we further keep dot in these gaps, it will get modified. We'll start from the center. See now, as we are keeping the dots, it looks different. This particular thing that extends on both sides indefinitely is called as line. And if we see it has no width and it extends indefinitely on both sides means it has no endpoints. At the line, it is not possible to give a practical example of line because drawing it infinitely is not possible. So, in practice, we will just draw a portion of this line and indicate that line with arrow marks. The portion of this figure and it has arrow marks on either side, which means it can extend indefinitely in both directions. Definition of a line is a collection of points along a straight path that extends endlessly in both directions. Now, how to read this? For that, we have two different ways. One is to write a single small letter of alphabet by the side of this line, say L, and now read this as line L. Or consider 2 points on this line and name these 2 points. Let it be A and B. Now we read this as line AB. We can indicate that with this symbol AB over that the line symbol. Or we can also tell this to be as BA line. Both mean same. Either we can tell it as AB line or BA line. If a point A lies on a line, we can also tell that a line passes through that point. In this case, line L passes through point A. Similarly, we can also tell line L passes through point B. Lines can be drawn in any direction. Consider 2 points A and B on a surface. Now, to join these points, there are different ways of joining this. But if we want to join these points with the help of a straight line, only one line can be drawn, which means that only one line can pass through two given points. Or, in other words, to uniquely identify any line, we need only 2 points on that line. A collection of lines that extends infinitely in all directions is called a plane. Usually, surfaces can be flat or curved, but a plane is always a flat surface. We know that flat objects will have two dimensions, that is, length and width. In case of a plane, both these values will be infinitely long as they extend in both the directions, but there won't be any thickness for a plane. Now consider any 2 points on a plane. Through this, we know that we can draw only one line. Let it be L. Now in the same plane, if we take another point, say C, and that point lies on the same line L, then all these 3 points A, B, C are said to be collinear points. If the point we have considered is not on the line, then A, B, C are non collinear points. Now, collinear points means if three or more points in a plane are on the same line, then the points are collinear points, and the line is called as a line of collinearity. In other words, we can also tell as three or more points in a plane are collinear if the line passing through any two of the points passes the other point also. Consider any line L and a point O on it. Now, if we make a figure consisting of those points on line L that lie on one side of O, including the point O, the figure will get modified. If we consider the left side and right side, it would be like this. You can take any of the sides, but only towards one of the sides. And point O will belong to one particular figure only. So the first figure shows when we are considering the left side, and the second one shows when we are considering the right side. This particular figure is called as ray, and point O is the initial point. Now, if we take any of these rays, it means that ray is starting from point O and extending indefinitely in the opposite direction. So O is called as the initial point, and if we see a ray has got only one endpoint, in this case it is O, and extends indefinitely in one direction only. Now consider a point A on this. From that, the figure can be written as ray OA, or we'll write OA simply on that ray side. Consider OA ray and AO ray. We'll take both the points O and A on the plane. And OA ray means we have to start at O and extend towards A. Whereas AO ray means we have to start at point A and extend towards O. Now we can see that both these rays are in opposite directions. So they make opposite rays, but they are not one and the same. Which means while writing a ray, the order of points is very important. The first point indicates it is the starting point of a ray. Now, in real life, we can see the sun rays and light from any of the light sources. In this case, the rays start from sun and extend indefinitely. Light from torch, it also starts from the bulb and extends indefinitely in the opposite direction. On a line L, consider any 2 points A and B. Now, if we take the points on the line that lie between these 2 points, including the points A and B, then that figure will look like this. This particular figure is called as a line segment, and it is represented as line segment AB, or just write AB over that a sign of line segment. Now, these A and B are the endpoints of the line segment. As this has endpoints, this will have a definite length. And a line segment will consist of two endpoints and all the points that lie between. A line segment will also have a finite length and it has no thickness. Line segment AB and line segment BA both mean same. Now, if we consider any two line segments, say AB and CD, such that their lengths are equal, in that case we can write AB equal to CD. Edges of a ruler or edges of a paper and edges of geometry box or pencil box, they are examples of line segments. In a plane, if we consider two lines, there can be two possibilities. Either they meet at a point or they don't meet at all. Say L and M. Here, the lines are meeting. So they will have a common point. In this case, let it be P. When two lines have a common point, then they are called as intersecting lines, and the point is called as point of intersection or intersecting point. So when we take any two lines, they can't intersect in more than one point. More than one point means say two. And we also have seen that 2 points are required to uniquely identify a line. Letter X and crossroads, these are the places where we can see the intersecting lines. When two intersecting lines make an angle of 90 degrees between them, then those lines are called as perpendicular lines. And it is written as L1 perpendicular to L2. Now, if the lines in the plane don't meet at all, they will look like this. These lines are called as parallel lines and it is written as L1 parallel to L2. Opposite edges of ruler, opposite sides of a rectangle, tracks of a railway line, or bars in a window are examples of parallel lines. The properties of lines that we have seen so far are an unlimited number of lines can be drawn passing through a given point. Exactly one line can be drawn passing through two different given points in a plane. Two lines in a plane either intersect at exactly one point or they are parallel. Intersecting lines, we already know that if two lines pass through a common point, they are called as intersecting lines. Consider few more lines through this point P, say N and P. Now, all these lines have P as a common point. This type of lines are called as concurrent lines and P is called as point of concurrency. For the definition of concurrent lines, three or more lines in a plane are concurrent if all lines pass through the same point. What we have seen in this video is about point, lines, planes, collinear points, non-collinear points, rays, line segments, intersecting lines, perpendicular lines, parallel lines, and concurrent lines.